Hey y'all, happy Sunday and welcome to this week's live Q&A session. This is the portion of the show where we allow YouTube to send out notifications that we're going live. If you're watching this live Q&A on replay, please scrub ahead until this graphic disappears and the actual show begins. If you're watching live and you have any comments or questions, please go ahead and put them in the live chat. But for now, grab a beverage, sit back, and relax while the countdown timer does its thing. Then we'll get started. Hey y'all, hope everybody is doing well. Happy Sunday. It's the end of another weekend and hope everything's going your way. Hope the weather has been kind to you, and if it hasn't, you have found appropriate shelter from the storms or the heat or whatever is plaguing your area. Man, I sound like a radio announcer. Knock it off. Yeah, it's been an eventful week here. It's apropos of absolutely nothing. We moved back up here to Southern Oregon from Nevada. Well, Linda's first real move here. I was born about 10 miles away from where I'm sitting. My father was born about a quarter mile from where I'm sitting. Um, I tell people I'm so local, I'm related to myself. Anyhow, we moved back up here in 2012, and we finally managed to get to Crater Lake on Friday. And been here, forever and a day, it seems. And like most locals, when we have something like that close to us, we tend to ignore it, forget it's there, and kind of just take it for granted that, yeah, okay, it's there. Well, we finally did the tourist thing and went. And Linda was surprised at how big it actually was. You don't get any sense of scale from photographs. And it's a beautiful trip. I mean, pines so big you won't believe it, and so many of them you won't believe it. And I mean, more trees than a kid could climb in a lifetime, but still, it kind of makes you feel small in a good way when you look at how big things actually are. And you have that sense of scale simply by being there. You don't, I mean, it's easy to take numbers. I mean, the highest point of the rim is 1,900 feet above the lake's surface. And the lowest point is still 500 and some odd feet above the lake's surface. And it's almost vertical. I mean, there are some trails down there that you can hike to get down to lake surface. But, I mean, good luck. It takes a very good hiker to do it. It's, 2, 3 hours. But anyhow, just a great little day trip. It's 60 miles, 60 something miles from our house. And we had never been. But, man, it really humbles you, makes you feel like your place on planet Earth is kind of just, okay, yeah, a momentary blip. Anyhow, so I encourage you, if you ever in the area where you can make a day trip, Crater Lake is just absolutely mind-blowing, the scale of it. And of course, Linda took her pipes and she played a little bit up there on one of the overlooks. And we just made a great day of it. It was fantastic. Anyhow, to CNC and all things Vectric or otherwise. We've got an interesting question. In fact, he made a point of it last week to say something about it, about how he starts so many conversations here on the channel. And it was an early question, and for some reason, when I pulled up the YouTube page and my broadcast software page, it wasn't there. Evidently, tracking the chat didn't go back that far. So his question is, I'm trying to figure out how to delete or rename textures I've added without uninstalling or resetting everything, ideally. And we had a little bit of a conversation about this, a little bit more of a back and forth, trying to figure out what textures he was talking about. And turns out what he's talking about, let me bring up VCarve Pro here real quick. What he's talking about is these textures in the material settings in job setup. And we get over here into material settings and we have the appearance. You can select a solid color if you choose that option. The problem is there has to be a material. You can't have a blank screen. The closest you can get to having a blank screen is use a solid color, and then in the color selector down here, select white. That's the closest you can have to a blank screen. There has to be something there. So you can get into, materials such as the woods here, metals. You can choose stones. And then there's miscellaneous down here: blue plastic, green plastic, pale blue plastic, red plastic. Then you can add a new texture. You can add your own texture. And all you need is a photograph. Okay? Be it, let's go ahead and click on it. It's going to send you in here. And here's what it's looking for. It's looking for bitmaps. Let me get off of that and hit the drop-down menu. It's looking for any kind of a TIFF file, a BMP, GIF, JPEG, or PNG. Any photograph with in one of these file formats you can use as a texture. Okay? Then the question became, where are they stored on the computer? Now, there's two possible places they could be stored. So the first one, we're going to go ahead and cancel that. The first place we're going to check is the application data folder. Okay? And that is, in my case, the C drive, program data, Vectric, and in this case, VCarve Pro 12.5. Now we look here, and here are bitmap textures. So I'll double click on that folder, and there are all the textures. There's woods, there's metals, stone, miscellaneous, and then a text document. And we double click on that text document, and of course, it gives us something very simple. This directory contains textures for shading the simulation. Okay? So we'll close that. And so that's where those textures are located. Now, we go up here, and 8 Center says App Data Folder stores the in-house materials only, not the ones you add. Well, let's check that out. If you add a texture to that folder, the bitmap textures, let's see what's in the miscellaneous folder. Okay, we have blue, pale blue, and red plastic, green plastic, and what have you. I would need to find a texture. So here's what I'm going to do. Blue, green, I'm going to look for purple plastic. So I'm going to open up a new browser window, come over here, and I'm just going to search for purple plastic. And let's see, I want images. And this one looks okay. It's a purple plastic with a texture. And the photo is public domain. Okay, terrific. So I'm going to right click on this image. And I'm going to open the image in a new tab. Plastic texture. Okay. Now, I'm going to save image as, and I'm going to navigate to that folder. It's a long walk, but here we'll go. Windows C. I think it's in Program Files. Hello. There we go. Come down and find. There's VCarve Pro 12.5. And nope, I did not go the right way. Program Files. Where'd it go? Where did it go? I didn't. Yeah, Vectric VCarve Pro Oh, that's where the thing is. Program data, not program files. Oops, my mistake. All right, Windows C, program data. And now we come down to Where is it? There it is. Vectric VCarve Pro 12.5 bitmap textures. Now I can store that in the miscellaneous folder. Let's go with that. Save. Now it's in that folder. All right. So let me minimize that. And I'm going to minimize this. Now, if I look in job setup, material settings, I'm going to click on the drop down. I'll go down here to miscellaneous. It has not been added. I need to add new texture, then navigate to that. C drive, program data, Vectric, VCarve Pro 12.5, bitmap textures, miscellaneous, and there is that texture. So it's been added and it's there. Now if I look in my 3D view, there is my bumpy purple. Okay? So there it is added. Let me go ahead and close VCarve. No, I don't want to save the changes. I'm going to open a new instance and create a new file. I'm not going to change anything up here. I'm going to go to material settings. The default is set to Canadian maple. That's within the program itself. Okay. Then we'll come down here to miscellaneous. Where is miscellaneous? There it is. Bumpy purple plastic texture. And that's good. I'll click OK. 3D view. There it is. Now, you said if you add through Vectric the way you just did, it won't save in that folder. Let's take a look. VCarve Pro, version 12.5, bitmap textures, miscellaneous, there it is. So, there it is. It does save it, and it may put it in another file because it's user installed. So let's look. Because you've also copied it to that folder. Right, so let's look. Let's come down here into my Windows search. And I'm going to look for, what is it called? I'll just copy this. Control C. Now I'm going to come down here in the Windows search. Control V. I'm looking for this. And that's the location. Oops. When I searched that way, all it did was bring up a Bing search for it. But that's the image. And go back, search again. That's where it's stored right there. Oops. Public. Okay, it stores it in 2 locations. That's why. Okay. It stores it in 2 locations. This is the other location where I thought it might be. It puts it in 2 locations. This PC, Windows C drive, then users, public, documents, Vectric files, then go to Vectric. Come on, go to Vectric files. Clip art, configure, design and make, gadgets, language, material images. This is the other folder that it adds to. Miscellaneous, and there it is. This is one that you added. So there are 2 copies of this JPEG in 2 separate folders. The reason it's in another folder is because it's also now shared, in my case, with Aspire. So there are 2 different places where it could be stored. Go in Vectric files in users, public, documents. There's your clip art. If we come back here, go to Vectric. We have Aspire, Design and Make, Machinist, File Dialog, VCarve Pro, 12.5. And there are your backups, your bitmap textures, your cabinet, your gadgets, all your gadgets if you have gadget support, your post processors, sculpting presets, your tool database, toolpath defaults, then vector textures that you may have saved, okay? This is the other location. Here we have your clip art, the configuration, anything you have purchased or downloaded through Design and Make, your gadgets, languages, material images, sculpting brushes that you have created, templates, and your tutorial files. So there are 2 separate locations where these things are located. Okay. Now Steve has just added in the chat, he's added a link to my adding material textures video. I'm going to check, because I also created a video on how you can add any image you want to your material samples as a simulation image. So for instance, I did a video where I created a 3D barn star, about a 2-foot diameter. And I took a photograph of the back of my house and put it as the background, then cut that barn star, did the 3D carve, and in the preview, there's the back of my house, and I manipulated it, everything, so that that barn star was placed on the back of my house where I would hang it. That would give a potential customer a preview image of what it would look like in situ. And I believe that video was titled Creating a Custom Preview Image. But I will look for it, and I'll link the video Steve just linked here in the in the chat, and I'll link that video unless they're the same one. If they're the same one, then it's just going to be one link. I'll put it in a pinned comment down in the comment section here. So, 8 Center says, it seems best to save them through the app data folder, though, much cleaner and easier to organize. The main difference on this is if you keep it in the app data folder, that material will only be, for instance, in this case, I put it in the VCarve 12.5 folder. If I keep it there without a copy in the public folder, the user data public folder, then it's only going to be available in that version of VCarve Pro, in my case 12.5. So if I keep it in that folder and it's not stored in the public, when I update to the next, when 13 comes out, if I update to 13, that image is not available in 13. If it's in that other folder that I just showed you where it was, it's available in all versions, no matter how many times you upgrade. It's not left assigned to that one particular version. Does that make sense? Easy enough to copy to other versions, though. Yeah, you're right. That's just one more task you got to do. If you, again, there is no best way. If you want to go in and physically copy that yourself, fine, go right ahead. But putting it in that other folder makes it available to all Vectric programs. Like if you upgrade to Aspire and no longer use VCarve Pro, it's available to Aspire as well. So just letting you know, if you would prefer to do that on your own, great, whatever works for you. I'm never going to criticize somebody for their own workflow or file organization. I mean, that's a personal choice. Just letting you know where it could be. And I went through that, I want to say it's been about 8 years now. I went through and when I made a video on it, I showed how to edit some images. Like for instance, one of them I did was you have the, for instance, medium wood, which is one I use a lot, but it's a vertical grain. Well, I wanted horizontal grain. And so what I had to do was copy that image of vertical grain and just put it in my imaging software, rotate it, change the name, and then save a copy in that folder. Problem was, I didn't know where that folder was. I didn't know where those materials were stored. So I had to look for it. And I finally found it, and I changed the orientation. So I had a choice. Did I want to preview with vertical grain or did I want to preview with horizontal grain? So just giving myself more options. But it was, I won't say a struggle, but it took a little bit of researching to find where those ding-dong images were stored. Because they don't make it easy. Mainly because they don't want people who don't know what they're doing to get into it and make changes they can't undo. It's another case of software protecting us from ourselves, to believe. But, some people need that. And I see it as a valid point, but I also like to know and have a little bit more control, So, and that's when I made those videos. And I'll get in and I'll see. I may have made a playlist on this topic because I know I did 3 videos. But again, your workflow is your workflow, and your folder organizational system is your choice. So if you want to make changes to it, be my guest. So Brooks Martin says, LOL, regedit. Oh, no, not that. Exactly. You get into regedit and it's like, oh, wait a minute. Be very, very careful. One little innocent looking change can have a cascade that you are not prepared for. Trust me on this. If you ever think that it has come to the point to where you have to even think about regedit, make a restore point. Back up everything before you even touch that son of a gun if you don't know what you're doing, if this is your first time. And don't believe every tutorial you see online. Oh yeah, get into regedit and delete this reference. Yeah. That's a real easy way to create a boat anchor that is mostly plastic, but what can we say? All right. I hope that answers 8th Center. It's just one of those things. It's 100% your choice, and you do you. So, let's see here. Michael Koenig says, when I use the draw line tool, if I enter a spot with the mouse, I can go out, type a number, and line is that length if I enter a start point. If I enter a start point, I can't. Is there a setting or just how it works? Okay, let's go in. And I think I understand your question, but I'm going to get into it here just to make certain. And, oops, got to go back to sharing. Hello, there we are. All right. So we're going to go in here and we're going to create a polyline. Now, what I can do is I can enter a start point here, my X and Y, or I can go enter a start point, say here. And I can drag a line in any direction and I can create my endpoint. But if I want and let me see if I'm making this, if I've got this right, Michael. If I want to come over here and enter a point, according to the question, I guess he says it won't do it. Well, it will do it based on which way you want to go. First, we got to remember where we're at, all right? We are at, put it right over it, and it's not telling me. Okay, my X position is over here under cursor position. Put it right over the top of that point. There's our X and Y location. All right, so we're at a negative X location and a positive Y. If we want the next point to be down here and we know either the coordinate position or the length and angle of the next point, we can come up here and do it. If I say I want my next point to be X1, Y -3, I can click Add, and that line is drawn. Okay? If I know, we'll go to my next point. Oh, backspace, backspace. I know I want an angle of 45 degrees and a length of 0.75. And click Add. And there it is. If you do what you were doing now, just type in a length. Okay, we can go this way. I don't even know what the angle is, and I want the length to be 2.0. Hit Enter. Oops, I got to be over here. All right. I want to go, I had clicked over on the comment. I want a angle of, oh, I just want a length. I've already chosen my angle. We'll go 2.0. Hit Enter. And nothing. You know, Michael, I have never gotten that to work for me. I have never gotten that to work for me. And I don't know why that is. I have never gotten that to work for me. It may be something in, see what it did up here? It entered an angle. Maybe that's because that's where I clicked. Okay, let me just create another point. Now I'm going to go this way and enter 2.0, enter. Oh, and it did it. Thank you. Thank you. I had clicked in here and that's what changed everything. So now I can put in an angle here, click 2.5, hit enter, and there we are. Now I can drag over here and just hit the tab button and it closes that vector, if I so desire. Yeah, I had never gotten that to work for me. I guess because I was still clicking over here in the thing, and now it worked. So thank you. Now, was that a question for me or was that just an observation? Either way, you know, great. It worked. So thank you. Handy dandy. Does anybody have any other questions out here? I'm not seeing any. I'm going to continue. Okay, that was it. That was the same video. All right. So the video that Steve linked here in the chat, I will link in a pinned comment. It's easy to find, especially if you're watching this on replay. If you're watching it live, YouTube won't allow me to comment while we're live. I have to wait until after. Okay, that was a question. Okay, all right. Yeah, you know what? There are a lot of little things like that within the software that I've seen once, and I don't remember where they were, you know, and it was just kind of a quick passing thing. But that's, you know, that is one of the benefits of watching the tutorials from Vectric, because Todd and Becky both do a great job. But everybody who does the tutorials over on the Vectric YouTube channel, they know these little secrets. Now, a lot of them they just do in passing because they don't think it really deserves its own focus or its own video. But I do, and you'll see a lot of my videos, if you go back through my catalog on the edited videos, you'll see a lot of my videos do talk about those little things that people don't think about. One of the big ones that I get, delete this, and we're going to bring it back up here. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to get a piece of clip art. And I'm going to get, let's do Billy Bass. I'm in VCarve. And I'm going to make Billy Bass bigger. And we'll go back over to the Design tab. No, I'm going to go over to the Component tab. Right click, and I'm going to get into the Properties. Now, Billy Bass is over 5/8 of an inch. And I'm going to bring that down to 0.375. Whoops, 2 decimals. 0.375. Happens all the time. All right, so Billy Bass is now just 3/8 of an inch thick. And that's great. And I'm going to close it. Go over to the 3D view. Oh, I still got my purple. Yeah, okay, a purple Billy Bass. What the heck? Let's see here. Yeah, all right. That'll work. Now what I got to do is go into material setup. And the way to figure out where all this stuff is, look over here at your material setup, and we're going to click the set button. And now we see where Billy Bass's position is within the material. Okay? Right now, he's all the way up at top. So it's going to carve, just start carving him, and that's going to be the background material. That's going to be what's left of this 3/4 inch thick material. And you can see it's drawn in the block. You can see that purple modeling plane right there. Well, if I don't want him there, if I want him down further within the material, I don't want 3/8 of an inch of material left down here. I want just 1/4 inch. I can drag this down, and I'm watching the gap below the model. Okay? I can either drag that down, or I can change my radio button to a gap below the model, and I can set that to 0.25. Then click on Set. And now we can see my model height is 0.375, close, and I've got a gap below the model of 1/4 inch. The 1/4 inch material is left, and now I see this light area. That is my model. That's my model. Then that's the material it's going to carve through to get to that model. Now, if for some reason your model depth is set way, oops, wrong one. If your model depth is set way down here and you want to bring it up, it's just the opposite. You can either drag the slider up, or you can come up here and you can set a gap above the model. Personally, I always set a gap above the model of 0.1. No, take that back. 0.01, 10,000ths of an inch, and hit enter. Oops. Go back into material setup. All right. 0.01. What that does is that puts a thin layer of material that it's going to have to carve through to get to the model. Because if I don't have that little area, if I don't have that little gap up there, there's a good chance that, like, areas that stand proud, like this fin, is going to have a flat spot on it. And I don't want that flat spot. So by putting that little thin layer right there, it's got to carve through that to get down here to the model. So, and then we'll click OK, and that's done. We have made it so. All right, let me go back over here to Michael's question. I'm guessing that I did not answer his question. I would like to enter a point, then draw a line and enter the length. And I believe that's what I was showing, Michael. You want to enter a point, and you can do that either here by just clicking, or you can come up and you can enter a point in XY. Just X2, Y2, and click Add, and there's your start point. Oops, Y, come on, Mark, undo. X2, Y2. How about that? Then we'll add that. Okay, there's my starting point. And now I can enter up, I can just move in a direction and then type in 2.5, hit enter. Oops, I clicked over here again. See what I mean? I can do this way, 2.5, hit enter, and there's my line. Or I can enter it using X and Y, or I can use angle and length. Was that what you were talking about? Or I can click out here for my start point and then go either by length and angle or a absolute coordinate up here. So Michael says, okay, 8 center got his point. See, that's what I love about this community. I have said forever that I have the best, most generous viewers on YouTube. I have the greatest audience on YouTube. One of the reasons why is because everybody's willing to help everybody else. There ain't nobody out here in the chat fighting, arguing, or being obnoxious. And I appreciate that. I really, really do. And folks out there to help one another, perfect. Thank you. Hey, Greg, how you doing? Long time no see. Mario Montoya is asking, is there a way to set the mentioned text to bold or filled in instead of outlined? Always seems faint and hard to see. There is no way to get it filled except in the preview after you've assigned a toolpath. And that's because, remember, this is vector software. It's drawing vectors. Now, there is a way. Let me go back to that question. I'm sorry. Is there a way to set the dimension text bold or filled instead of outlined? Let's go take a look at what we're talking about here. We'll go back up here. I'm going to get rid of Billy Bass. Take 5, Billy. And we're going to go up here to dimensions. All right. So we'll click on that, and we're going to come down here. Now, what we're going to look at is about all we can do is we can go text height, how many decimals, and an offset. And the offset is how far away from the object we're dimensioning, okay? And we can go length, vertical, horizontal, and everything. There really isn't a way to edit this that I know of to make it filled or to make it bold. I get it that it is hard to see. But no, you can kind of cheat the system because those dimensions are, let me just draw a quick dimension out here. I want to go from here to here, and we're going to pull it this way, and there we go. All right, so those are our dimensions, okay? I'm going to close that, and I think I'm going to try. Also know that it creates its own layer, okay? Now, if we look over here at the layer color, all right, the layer color, you can change that to any color you want. If you want it gray 80%, you want it indigo, dark blue. If you want it black, we can make it black. I don't know if that helps you out any. That's a little bit bolder, but we can't have it infilled. We come up to the layer manager again, and we click on this little, looks like a TV screen here. We can make the dimensions blue if we want. And that'll differentiate it from any vector help. Steve says, would single line as text and choosing a bold font help? That's also the case. You can look at the font you're using. The font that you're using would also determine that. And we can go select that dimension, go back into the dimension, and we can change that font. If you want to come down here and choose something like this, it's a little more bold, you see, but it's still not going to be filled in. See, it's still going to be whatever color you make your layer color. And dimensions are on a separate layer. The default, I think, is gray 40%, but I could be wrong, okay? But you can make it any color here or create a custom color of your own. So I don't know if that helps you or not, but that is one way of making them a little bit easier to see. It's just changing the layer color. So, Marie says, when we add texture, does the image have to be a JPEG? No, it can be a PNG file. It can be any of the other it can be any of the other recognized formats. JPEGs and PNG files, generally speaking. Also TIFFs and BMPs, and here we go, GIF or GIF, depending upon how you pronounce that word. AVIF files, these here, I take it you use an iPhone. A lot of iPhone pictures are used as, I don't know why they do this. They're using different file formats. Yeah, I have received some of those. There's another format that's really popular with iPhones. Yeah, Carrie Casella. AVIF is an image format based on the AV1 video codec. Yeah, and what that's done is that's done in an attempt to reduce the file size on your phone. But I mean, people have been using JPEG and the other file formats forever. And I don't know why some companies feel the need to change things, but they do. So, yeah, you can convert it. Yes, you can convert it to JPEG, but it would be JPEG. You're probably better converting to PNG if you have that ability. If you can convert it to PNG, that's a little bit better. But to answer your question, no, they don't have to be JPEG. But PNG is better. Can you demonstrate the use custom text feature? Okay, I'm thinking that you're talking about within Dimensions. Let me look. Use custom text. Yes, you can add, change this here. You can add something. Let's say you want to detail it width. And you go click and click. Drag it down. There we go. Width. Instead of a measurement, you're going to get that text. So, and here it is. Place dimensions on a separate layer. That is checked. And the layer's name is dimensions. That makes things much, much, much easier. Yes, that's the other peanut butter. Now your choice is creamy or super chunk. Hey, what can I tell you? So, there is that. Right. See, I believe there were some other questions up here. Let me go check it out. I thought there was another question. Maybe not. Maybe it's, okay, here we go. Kimberly Went says, random question. Trying to draw images with measurements showing between arrows across the middle. We're back into dimensions again. So, what we want to do, let's close this and I will screen share. And I'm going to take all of this and delete. Now, let's say we've got a rectangle. Let's do something. Do a couple things that are simple here, and we're going to draw a circle over here, and we'll put one in the right about there. Okay, fine. So we've got a bunch of different things out here. All right. So I'm going to go into my dimensions, and I want to look at length dimensions. Do I want length dimensions? Do I want vertical dimensions, horizontal angles or arcs or any of that stuff? I'm going to get rid of using custom text. And I'm going to go with a horizontal dimension. And I don't want those dimensions out here. As Kimberly said, I want them on the inside. So what I'll do is I'll come over here and I'll click. You see how my arrow turns into what looks like node editing. It's got the little tilde underneath it. That means I can click right there and start my dimensioning there. Then drag over here and see the crosshair? Click. And now I can move that dimension box wherever. And I can place it kind of sort of in the middle. Click, and there's that dimension. All right. And I can do the same thing in a circle. I can come over here where I see those crosshairs and go click. And come over here, click, and put that text box anywhere I want. Or it can be a vertical dimension. And I can click here and click here and put that box wherever I want. I can slide it over inside, and there we go. So the dimensions don't have to be on the outside. And a lot of times that's the best way to be. Now I want to do an angle dimension. Come over here to the center of my circle. Go right here. Nope, I need two. I need two. Let's undo that. Control Z. Oops. Nope. Close. I don't want that. Control Y. I want that dimension back. See, for an angle. Trying to remember how to do angle dimensions. I need a start point. I need 3 points. So we'll do my start point here, start point here, there. And there is the angle I want to measure, and I'll put it right there. So the angle here to here is 36 point whatever. Okay. An arc dimension, let me go over here to this circle, I'll zoom in. And it's just choosing this arc right here. Or this one here. And I've got a 0.06, or I've got a 0.6 radius. And here, same thing, because it's the same circle. Lots of ability to use dimensions. So, in answer to your question, Mario, it has to do with the font you're using, which you can change up here. And it has to do with the color you have assigned to the layer. It doesn't have to be that light medium gray. It can be any color you like. If you know, you know. Choose one of these pre-selected, or you can make your own custom color. So. Ellen says, I have to start utilizing this measurement tool. Well, now there are two different measurement tools here, because what I've been working with is dimensions up here under Create Vectors, and that's exactly what this does. I can select that, come over here, V-carve toolpath, flat depth, 90-degree V-bit, calculate it, no suitable vectors. I cannot V-carve those dimensions. Close. Right-click on this dimensions here, cut, copy, duplicate, delete, select, components, bitmaps, nope, activate layer of selection, nope, node edit mode. Can I node edit dimensions? No, I can't node edit dimensions. Tap the letter N to come out of node edit, select those dimensions and get right click. I can copy them, I can move them, but that's it. I can't do anything with these dimensions. They are in the drawing only. Leo Steger wants to know, are the angles in degrees and minutes or degrees and rations? Leave it to Leo to ask me that. I think they're just in degrees. I don't know about minutes, because we're dealing with just the radius of an arc. If you're talking about here, I think it's just in degrees and minutes or degrees and rations. I don't think it's in rations. So, Kimberly's asking, can you print them? Let's see, because I am not sure. This is not hooked up to a printer. But if I take File, let's look at Print Preview. And is it? Yes, it is opening here. So yes, you can print them. Okay. And here's the, oh, it is connected to a printer. I'm not going to scare Linda to death by printing this thing, but yes, you can print them. Steve is asking, can the dimensions be copied to a layer that can be carved? Let's find out. I'm going to take this one here, and I'm going to copy to layer 1. Now I'm going to go up here to my layer manager, and I'm going to turn off dimensions. So this was copied to layer 1. Now I'm going to select it. I'm going to right click and see if I can convert it to vectors. No, I cannot. Okay. So I've got them selected. Can I V-carve? Calculate. No, I can't. So these are not vectors. Or not vectors that can be carved. They can be printed, and that's about it. So, as I was saying to Ellen, there are two different measuring tools out here. Sorry, I got distracted, Ellen. What we're talking about is dimensions in here up under Create Vectors. There's another measuring tool down here under Edit Objects. And this measuring tool will let you measure, for instance, between 2 points. You can measure the distance, the angle, x distance, y distance, the first point XY position, then the cursor position. So I'll come over here and I'll click on this and it fills in some of the stuff. Now I can measure between 2 points. Click that and it tells me what that length is, 5.6 inches. My angle was 0 degrees. I went from here to here. My x distance, 5.6. My y distance was 0 because I did not vary in my y position. Then the absolute coordinate to my first point, and then my cursor position. And that moves with me as I move. It comes over here and gives me this position while I'm in the form. So this is not printed. This is not printed because it goes away the minute I close this. It doesn't create anything. It just measures from one point to another, for instance. That's the distance between those 2 points. It also gave me the angle from here to here. Okay? It gave me an x distance, 3.2, and a y distance of 2.2. All right? But once I close this form, it all goes away. That's just for measuring. And that will help you with doing it however you'd like. Stubbs' mom is asking, can you print to PDF, then import the PDF as a bitmap? Well, let's find out. Let me go back here. And in layer 1, I'm going to put the dimensions back on the dimension layer. And I'm going to select all. And I'm going to come up here, File, Export, Vectors. Okay? And I'm not going to put it there. I'm going to put it on my desktop. Yeah, I'll put it up there, and I'm going to say, call it Dimensions. All right? Now, I can export it here. Come on. I can export it to a drawing file like a DXF, DWG, EPS, AI, PDF, SKP, or SVG file. Bitmap image file, photo VCarve file, Cut 3D or PartsWorks 3D file, Vectric Machinist file, VCarve Pro file, or a SketchUp file. I'm going to come back up here. And I'm going to save it. You said specifically about a PDF. You can do it to a PDF. You can also do an SVG. Let's do that. I'm going to save it as an SVG file. SVG. And on my desktop, I'm going to click Open. What am I doing here? I'm trying to export. Did I hit import? I meant export. File. Yeah. Yes, I did. I clicked import. I'm sorry. I'm going to export an SVG. I can do EPS, DXF, AI, SVG, or PDF. I'm going to do SVG. So, and I'm going to save it on my desktop, like I said. I apologize for the confusion. There we go. And I'm going to call it, again, I'm going to call it Dimensions. Boom. There we go. Okay. Now I'm going to close this. Save. No, I don't want to save. Kaboom. Now I'm going to open up a new session of VCarve Pro. Create a new file. And OK. And I'm going to import vectors. And I'm looking for dimensions. DIM. There we go. Dimensions SVG. That's what I want to import. I'll open it. Now I'm going to, whoops, I took that out of here. I'm going to center it. I'm also going to put a check mark down here. Show common tools on design tab. I want those tools there. Close. Now I've got my align objects down here. Click off. Now, each one of these is a separate vector. So now they can be printed. Hold shift. I didn't get my 3 within the box. I'm going to tap G and I'm going to group them. So now if I click anything, there they are. All these black spots are start points. So I'm going to tap U and I'm going to ungroup them. Because what I want to do is I want to make sure these are closed vectors, and because they're not. Okay, I want those. Come over here and I want to join. I'll have one closed vector after joining. Kaboom. Now that's a closed vector. Now I'm going to do the same thing over here. I draw from left to right. I've got 3 open vectors. Now I'm going to join them so they're closed. And now I want to see if I can V-carve these. And I believe it can. It's going to ignore these vectors. Just know that. This straight line here and this straight line here, it's going to ignore those. So what I'll have to do if I want this done this way, so I'll close, come over here, V-carve, flat depth of 0.25, my 90-degree V-bit, and I'll calculate it. It's going to ignore the 2 open vectors. Okay. And I'm going to change my sheet from the bumpy purple plastic. I'm going to go back to medium wood. There we go. And I'm going to change the toolpath color to black so you can see it. And we're going to preview that toolpath. And there they are. Now, I got to get those 2 lines. So I'll turn on the vectors in the preview. Click off. I say, click off. Hello. All right. I'll do it in the 2D view. Click off. I'll select these 2 going from right to left. Close the preview, and I'm going to do a profile toolpath, 90-degree V-bit, chunk, select. I'm going to go on the vector, and I don't want to carve a 1/2 inch. I want to carve, let's see, let's go with a 16th inch, 0.062, oops, yeah, 25. No, not 2 decimals. Vectric doesn't like 2 decimals. All right, I'm going to make one pass. I want to carve on the vector. None of the rest of this matters to me. And I'm going to change the toolpath color to black. Preview, and we have carved our dimensions. I wouldn't use the 90-degree V-bit. That's too much. That's too big. Yes, I would do the 90-degree V-bit. I would just make the depth shallower. So that's the way you can do it. You can export those dimensions as an SVG file and then import that SVG, and then you can V-carve all of it. So it will work. So that was a long answer to a short question. Yes, you can carve those dimensions, but you really gotta wanna. You have to do a couple of workarounds. So, all right. Let's see. Ellen says, I really need to step up my game. My goal for the year was to remember to add notes and dimensions to my files. It will make it easier for repeat projects. I'm still in the planning stage. That's something that, yeah, that's something that you got to work on. But remember, you can create notes in a lot of different places. Let's go back over here. Because I see Miss Carrie talking about she's using VCarve Desktop and not VCarve Pro, and that's legitimate because VCarve Desktop won't allow you to create job sheets. But there's something that you can do. Even though it doesn't create job sheets, I'm looking at the camera and talking at like I haven't got the software pulled up. Even though it won't create job sheets, you can write yourself notes in various places. You just have to remember them, okay? The easiest right off the top is come up here to Edit and come right down here to Notes. And then it's going to open this up right here. You've seen this, whether you think you have or not. You have seen this if you have ever opened up a file that you've gotten from Vectric or Design and Make. A note will pop up the minute you load that file. A note will pop up telling you to remember to check your settings and in the toolpath to make sure they're safe and appropriate for your machine. Well, you can write yourself notes here as well. You can type in something like dimensions were imported as an SVG file. Okay. You can write yourself all the notes you want. Then click OK. And that note is hidden away. It's part of the file. You will need to save the file to keep that note. But now you have to remember to come up here to Edit, click Notes, to find that note. Now what you can do is if you look here, to have notes auto-open when a file is loaded, start the note with a period. So basically all you have to do is put a period or hard stop, for those of you in the UK, right before the first character. I usually add a space, or sometimes I'll have this on its own line. Then we click OK. And now when I save this file, we'll save as new on my desktop, save. Now if I open up another version of VCarve Pro, open, and I'm gonna, oh, my recently opened files, there's new.crv. I'll just load that. And boom, that note comes up automatically. Dimensions were imported as an SVG file. All because I put that period as the first character in this note. So you don't have to remember where you put that note. It's right there when you open up that file again. Okay. You didn't know that, Ellen? It's actually pretty cool. But again, once you open that file, then you remember, oh yeah, that's right, I wrote a note for this. Okay, cool. I can still go up to Edit, come down to Notes, and there we are. There's the same note. Now, that's not the only place that you can write a note. Let's zip back over here for a minute. If I select VCarve 1, it's selected and it's visible. Again, the toolpath is visible. I can uncheck it. The toolpath is not visible. Just the vectors. Remember, this is selected. This is visible because it's actually showing the toolpath itself. I come up here to save this. Toolpaths I have saved. All right. I've got all that. Everything is cool. That's not where I was looking for. What was I looking for? Go back in here. Oh, man. Where was the toolpath notes? I remember now. Okay. I haven't used this in a while. I've got the toolpath selected. I can come up here to toolpath summary. I can put notes in here as well. I can put that I'm using my 90-degree V-bit, but the 90-degree V-bit that I'm using is the Bosch 90 Alt 0176, release Alt 90-degree V-bit. I can apply that, and now that's going to follow. Close. Now when I save this, G-code, and I'll put it vcarve1.cnc. That's what my post-processor needs. I'm going to put it on my desktop. Save. Now if I open up Notepad, there is this directory thing simulation. I want to file, open, desktop, and where is the CNC file? VCarve CNC file. Let's see. I'm looking for VCarve1 CNC. Yes. Open. There is my G code. I gotta find it. Gotta find it. Gotta find it. Where is it? Gotta find it. Where is it? Oh, it doesn't name it. It doesn't name it. Okay, there it is. VBit 90 degree. It doesn't name the file, so it's not visible in the G code. I thought it would be visible in the G code as well. Interesting. Interesting. I'll have to think about that. I'll have to think about that. I thought that that brought it up in the G code itself, but evidently it doesn't. Okay. All right. Ellen wanted to know, how did you type in the degree symbol? This is something that it's a little thing that gets people going. Let me come back over here real quick. And this works everywhere. It's part of the Unicode for whatever font you're using. It's old style computers. Go into text here, and I'm going to just say 98.6 degrees. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hold down the, press and hold the Alt key. Then over on my keypad, I'm going to type 0176. 0176. Then release the Alt key, and there's the degree symbol. Okay? Now, there is the text itself. And there are all kinds of Unicode instructions for various fonts. And this is all gets back into the old computer days. Let me do something else here. Oh, I had that selected. Close, click off. Go back into the text. All right. I'm going to move my text down here. And let's say something is 64. Now, you know the dollar sign is right above the number 4 key. It's shift 4. That'll give you dollars. But what about cents? Cents, we hold down the Alt key and we type in 0162. Then we release the Alt key and we now have something that's marked as 64 cents. I did a video on this as well. And it's getting into the character map that is within Windows. And we're going to go play around in it. This is a whole nother rabbit hole. So I'm going to make this brief. What we're going to do is we're going to come down here, and it could be located in a couple of places. There it is right there. Character map UWP. We'll click on that and let it open up, and it's loading all the fonts. Now, Ellen is asking, is there a cheat sheet for these? This is your cheat sheet. What you need to do is you need to look for the font you're going to use. Now let's go back up here, and I'm going to go to my trusty favorite, Times New Roman. Here are all the symbols within the Times New Roman font. And we're going all of the symbols, okay? And we'll come down here and we'll look, and we see if you're in the UK, there's the pound sign, okay? If you want 1/4, the fraction for 1/4, 1/2, 3/4, the upside down question mark if you're going to type something in Spanish, copyright symbol, registered trademark symbol. All of these are part of this font for various different alphabet systems. You know, all kinds of stuff here. And now we're getting into modifiers. And here is degrees. No, that's not degrees. That's a ring above. Excuse me. Need to find degrees. There are your quotation marks. Is that degrees? No, that's the low ring modifier. Where is degrees? Combined ring below. No. I think we're into other alphabet. Yeah, we are into other alphabet systems because now we're into Greek and Coptic. So let me go back up. I'm going to go back up here. Let me find it. Is that degrees? There is degrees. Boom. We click on that. Now, right down here, it's telling us that the Unicode for it is U00B0. Or the keystroke is Alt 0176. Okay? So there's the keystroke, Alt plus 0176. Now what you got to do is, again, hold down that Alt button and then type 0176. So you can come in here and you can look for what you want. I want British pounds. The keystroke is Alt 0163. Okay? Registered trademark. It's Alt 0174. Exactly. You could spend ages looking up for stuff, looking up stuff in that chart. And here's the kicker about it. These are all text symbols, and they are all potentially scalable vectors. Okay? And each one of these can be used. Just because it's not on your keyboard doesn't mean it isn't there. So, and it also depends on what your keyboard is. If you've got, because like 8 Center, you're in the UK, you have the UK keyboard. So chances are holding down Shift 4 is not going to give you the sign for US dollars. I don't know if it gives you the sign for British pounds or not, because I've never used a UK keyboard. But you can just absolutely, and be careful, you can just absolutely go crazy looking for, through these various fonts, at all the things that you have available. And I mean, it's nuts. So Shift 4 is dollars. I'm surprised. I'm very surprised. I figured you would have a UK keyboard. Marie says, can you show us again how you got to this chart? Yes. Let me share again. And let me close. And I'm coming down here to my Windows Start. Come right down here. See Character Map UWP. Now, if you don't have that, we'll come down here, and I believe it's in Windows System Tools. Let's look. I'm just cruising slowly to make sure I don't pass it. Nope, it's not in there. Windows Tools. And of course it opened up here. And when you open Windows Tools, there's Character Map. So I can open up the Character Map, and that brings up this much smaller window. Okay? And you cannot resize this window. But that's the other Character Map. Okay? Now, if I'm looking at Webdings, for instance, and these are all of the characters that are included in the Webdings font. And there are a bunch of them, you know. So if you need whatever is in here in Webdings, and there are Webdings, there are Wingdings. If you need a pair of scissors, a pair of glasses, any of that stuff. You want a number in a solid circle, or just a number with an outline circle. It's very, very small. But let's say I want to put that little character toad in my, I want that for some reason. Okay. Click select, okay, and it appears down here. Then I say copy, come right over here, go into text, I'll move my text box down here. Then I click paste, Control V. Oh, that's in Times New Roman. Oh my gosh. Back up. I got to go to Wingdings. So let's go down here, start with W, not Webdings. I want to go Wingdings. Now, I Control V to paste, and there it is. Now, right now it's a text object. Okay? It is text. But I can select it, right-click, convert to vectors. And now I can edit it any way that I would normal vectors. So there's a little decoration I can put in something. Now there's the character map. And again, you know, if I want one the opposite direction on the other side, there are more. You need an arrow. There's an arrow. It's not the kind of arrow you want. Well, let's cruise down and see what other arrows there are. There's that arrow. There's that arrow. You need a quick check mark. There it is. Let's get rid of that. Click select. And there it is. Copy. And again, we're in Wingdings font. Come over here. And Control V to paste. Close, and there's our check mark. And again, select, right click, convert to vectors. Now you can scale it to however you want. Move it anywhere, put it wherever you want. You can pin to taskbar for easy access. Yes, you come right down here and you see where the character map is. Down here on my taskbar. I can right click, pin it to the taskbar. Now, let me bring it up. If I close it, to go about my day, do whatever I got to do, that icon is still right there. The next time I need it, I just click on it. Of course, it opened on the other monitor, and there it is. Now I can come down here to Wingdings number 3. Let's see what we got on this one. I don't see anything that I want to use here. Let's go to Wingdings 2. And, well, there's a few. But again, all of these are scalable. I want to select that. And I want to copy it. Then come back over here to VCarve. And go into my text. And Control V to paste. And, oh, I got to go to the right font. Wingdings 2. That's what I want. Yep, okay. Close, deselect, go back into my text, go back into my character map, and what is the opposite one? The opposite one, I believe, is right there. Yes, that's it. That's the opposite one. Okay, I'm going to close that, or delete that rather. I want to select that one, then I want to copy it. I'll come back over here, and I want to Control V, and close, then move that one off. That one. So now I got them both facing in different directions, but they're separate characters. I can do both of them if I want. At the same time, now I can put some text in between. Just a little thingy here. And again, these are all scalable. Make them as big as you want. If you want to add them to a project, you can convert to vectors if you want, but strictly speaking, it's not necessary. You don't have to convert them to vectors. You can VCarve them as is, just like this. And they make for interesting little scrolls that you can use in various projects. And you can scale them however you'd like. Set the size. Right now, it's pretty ding-dong big. Let's bring my width down to 4.0. Click apply, and there we go. And now I'll select this one. We'll make the width 4.0. 4.0. Apply. And there you go. Yeah, I could have flipped it. I could have done any number of things. Let's do number 9. And rotate that. Now I'm going to take this one and close. I want to make a mirrored copy. Rotate, no, not rotate, mirror selected objects. And I don't want to flip about the job center, but I do want to create a mirrored copy, and I want to flip it horizontal. And then I'll drag this one over. And I have an exact copy of that one. Lots of stuff you can do. It becomes editable just like anything else. But all of these characters you're seeing in here are within the fonts you select. If I go up here to Times New Roman, for instance, my old standby, click on the Times New Roman font, these are all the characters that are available in this font. And there are a bunch. I mean, it goes crazy. We're into Arabic now. I believe it goes into Cyrillic, but I'm not 100% certain. There is Greek there. But there are all kinds of different symbols that are included in these font sets. A lot more than what you're seeing on the keyboard. And literally endless possibilities. Exactly. I'm going to throw you another one here that's going to really throw you off. I'm going to go back over to, no, I need to close that. I want to go to the character map UWP. It's a bit larger. And I'm going to go up through some of my fonts here because you can go nuts. And I probably shouldn't talk about this, but hey, too late. Looking and I'm not seeing any. I say Wingdings is the name of that one font. Webdings was another font. There is also, they fall under the generic title of dingbats. That's what that type of character is called. And Steve, I noticed Steve linked a link to a video where I talked about using dingbats. I'm not seeing any. I think I got rid of all of them. Yeah, I did. I got rid of all of them on this computer. Oh, no, there's one right there. That font. It's called Forced Reentry. I got that on Dafont, DAFONT.com. And you'll see this in that video that Steve has linked. I'm going to put that in a pinned comment when we're finished with this live stream. Again, these are scalable graphics. These are scalable graphics, but they are seen as a font. So in this UPW, Character Man UPW, I select it, I click copy. Okay, it's copied to my clipboard. Now I have to remember Forced Reentry font. Come over to VCarve. I'm going to select all of this and I'm going to delete it. I got to go over here. I got to go over here and turn off the toolpaths. Otherwise, that's going to be in it. I come over here to text and I need to make sure that I'm in Forced Reentry. There it is. Bunk. Now I can paste and hold down Shift. We can make our trip to the dark side. Oops. So select it, go over here. I'm going to do a new VCarve toolpath. Flap depth of 0.25, my 90-degree V-bit. I'm not going to worry about clearance tools for this demonstration. Continue anyway. You will get that on some fonts where you have intersections and what have you. And we'll preview that toolpath. Cutting pretty deep, but that's okay. This is just a demonstration. And he's either saying, come with me to the dark side, or something else that I won't say in mixed company. Anyhow, Dwayne Wuthig is wanting to know, is there a license required on the fonts? That is on an individual basis. Some of these font creators make it open source. Some of it go with Creative Commons licensing. Some of them want you to buy a license agreement for commercial use. It just depends. It depends on whoever created the font. So, and I will put a link to that website. It's Dafont, D-A-F-O-N-T. In fact, I'll just bring it up. Heck with it. DAFONT.com. Enter. And bring it over here. Open it up and screen share. Shaboom. And here is Dafont.com. And believe me when I say you can go absolutely nuts downloading fonts here, okay? Because there are, I don't know how many fonts, but like for instance, this one here has already got 140,000 downloads. And you see over here, it's 100% free. This one is free for personal use. So it depends. Free for personal use. Free for personal use. Some of them want, you know, a few bucks if you're going to use it commercially. But if you're just going to use it personally for your projects, fine. Free. What you want to look for over here is dingbats. Then you have aliens, you have animals, you have Asian, you have ancient, runes, esoteric, fantastic, horror, gothic. I mean, look at all the different various, you know. We'll just click on dingbats as a category. And remember, these are all scalable graphics that you can download and use. Some of them, like this, the butterflies, 100% free. Free for personal use, 100% free for the video games. Splatters, you know, I mean, you can go crazy with this stuff. These little flourishes, 100% free. It just depends on the creator. So be careful. And I know this from personal experience. Yeah, 8th Center says, I saved 372 dingbat fonts, probably 300 of them from Dafont. Yeah, Dafont is not the only source for fonts out there. And I feel your pain. I feel your pain, 8th Center, because let me see. I don't remember how many fonts I have right now. Let me go up here to File Explorer, and I want to find fonts. Windows, and fonts. Here we are. This is where all your fonts are installed. I currently have 416 fonts. That's fine. I currently have 416 fonts. That's down from over 2,000. I had 2,000 fonts on this computer when it was my main design computer. But when I came out here and started using it to broadcast, when I brought this computer out here, I went through and I got rid of a bunch of them. Mainly because when I go into VCarve, when I would go into draw text. See how fast that loaded? It was taking, on average, a minute and a half just for this to load up. And sitting here waiting for it and waiting for it and waiting for it, I want to, no, I want to get out of it. So I didn't want to wait that long. So I got rid of a bunch of them when I can't miss Carrie. Steve, I was up to 23,000 fonts at one point. Well, I feel your pain, Steve. You remember, I don't know if you remember the DVD collections you could get down at like Office Depot or Staples or wherever. Linda, for her job down in Nevada, she had 3 big sets, each of them with 40 to 60,000 fonts in it. Her job in administration. That is just like, oh my God, you know. And they're here, they're at the house. Don't use them, but they're at the house. I would never need that many. But Miss Carrie, I'd have way too much trouble choosing what to use if I had that many to pick from. Let me show you a tool. I'm going to go back up here to, yeah, we'll go back up here. I'm going to close this. I'm going to open a new tab. I'm going to close the purple plastic. Don't need that anymore. And I'm going to go to wordmark.it. Hit enter. Okay. Wordmark.it used to be a Flash website. Flash is no longer supported. Thank you, Steve. Sorry. Wordmark.it used to be a Flash website. Now it's no longer supported. I don't know if there still is or if there was a extension. I have the extension on my computer, in my browser rather. Wordmark is pretty cool because I type in a phrase. Let's say just something stupid and simple. Hello. And I click the arrow. And now what it's doing is it's showing me what that phrase would be in the various fonts. I have some of these. I don't have some of these. But it's showing me what it is, what it could be when I go through and check out. So I can just go by appearance. I don't like that one. I don't like that one. Oh, that one's pretty cool. That one's pretty cool. I think I want to use that one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click this, select. Okay. But I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep seeing what there is to see. There's forced reentry, which I have on my computer. So it is showing me some of the fonts that I have on my computer. They have changed their process here. I want to look at this one as well, just in case. Kaufman BT. I'm going to click that plus sign. Okay. And oh, this is pretty cool. I'm going to click on that one. And I'll make a decision a little bit later. So anyway, once I've got, I'll do that one too. Once I have a few selected, I'll come up here and I'm going to click filter selected fonts. And now it's showing me just the ones that I selected. So I can sit back and I can make a choice. And I think I'm going to go with this first one. This is the first one that I use. It's decorated 035-BT. Okay. And that's what it looks like. Okay. You can show all the characters. That's what comes with it. Okay. All right. Okay, so close that. Now I want to use decorated 035-BT. It is showing me some characters, some fonts that I have on my computer. Now I'm going to go look and see. Do I still have the font list open? No, I don't. Okay, let's go back to File Explorer. I want to go to C Drive, Windows, fonts. Open that folder. And what was it called? It was called Decorated 035. So let's see. There it is, Decorated 035 BT Regular. I do have it. Now, yes, it is showing me the fonts that I have on my computer. Let me go back to all fonts. It is showing me this in all of the fonts I have on my computer. So I can go through and I can make selections. So, Miss Carrie, what your question about if I have that many fonts, I never know which to use. You can simply come up here and again, type in whatever you like. Let's see, just and hit enter, and now it's showing me everything that I've got installed on my computer and a few more. Okay. Aid Center says some fonts are restricted to inside software only. Photoshop example has its own. That is the case. Adobe keeps some of its fonts basically locked away from being installed here in your fonts folder, and it's available only in the Adobe software. There are a couple of other software companies that do that as well. But I can go through and I can see my name, Mark Lindsay CNC, in every font I have on my computer and decide what I want to use, what I want to select. I've used WordMark, but I still have a hard time making a decision. I feel you. I feel your pain. It's valid. I mean, and that's one of the reasons why I've also pared down the number of fonts that I have. And it's simply because some of the differences in all these fonts are so small, you would be the only one that noticed the difference. You know, and the other thing to think about, especially if you're doing commission work, you're doing work for people, for other people. Something I have found about something I've found about working with the public at large, working with customers, is that if you give people an option, if you give people options, they'll take all of them. And you get into people are just frozen. It's almost like an anxiety. They don't know what to do with that many choices. So by limiting their choices to a good, comfortable margin or comfortable selection, folks find it easier to make a decision. When I was, I'm a recovering real estate agent, and I found when I was in real estate, it's easier for people to identify what they don't like than it is to identify what they do like. So if you can eliminate what you don't like or what a potential customer doesn't like, you've made it a whole lot easier. If you're looking only for script fonts, look only for script fonts. If you're looking only for sans serif fonts, sans serif fonts. Look only for those. And, go for the gusto. And remember, ultimately, the customer's the one that has to be satisfied. You don't have to like it. You don't have to like it. Not, I won't be that strict about it, but close, Give them a choice between gloss or matte finish, That's also a misquote. He never said that. In fact, the first 4 years the Model T was in production, you couldn't get black. It depended on where it was built. Some of them were blue, some of them were green, but you couldn't get black. And then suddenly everything became black because too much politics with trying to get paint suppliers. But yeah. So anyhow, my train of thought derailed and we went way, way, way off script. Speaking of scripts, I have a bunch of videos about each of these subjects that we have touched on. Some of them use older versions of the software, and I apologize for that. I will go down, I will find links to all of these videos, and I will find all of these videos and I will put them in a pinned comment as soon as we're finished here live, which we just about are. Boy, have I gone over time. We got to go grocery shopping. Anyhow, channel members, tomorrow, don't forget, 5 Pacific, 8 Eastern, members only live stream. We're gonna be playing around. We're gonna be having some fun tomorrow. So I'm not gonna leak it just yet. But if you have your email notifications turned on, you'll notice that you haven't received the notification yet. That's because I haven't created the live stream yet. I'll do that as soon as I get in the house. If you don't have your email notifications, go over to my YouTube channel, click on posts, and you should see right there, there's the page. That's where you'll find the links. Again, give me about a half hour, and because I got a bunch of searching for videos to do here. I think that's about it. Also, next Sunday, I don't know what you guys want to see. I don't know what you want to do. Thank you for the fantastic questions this week. Let me know what you want to see. A couple of you have sent me ideas, and I'm working on them. I have a big list of things that I would like to do. I have a big list of which direction I want this channel to take, because I can only show these icons every so many times, before it becomes boring to y'all. So, but let me know if there's something that you want to see, something you've heard about. I am working in the background to get into inlays, so put that on the back burner for a while. It's coming. Let's see here. What's the warning sign says? The warning sign says, let me make sure I get the wording exactly right. Warning, retired person on premises, knows everything and has the time to tell it. Yeah, has plenty of time to tell it. There it is. So, yeah, that's me. Retired person, knows everything. I don't know everything, but I know where to look. And I'm starting to get artwork on the walls. I've got my big Army logo up there. I need to move that. You really can't see it. It almost blended in. So I got my Army logo up there. And our buddy out here in the channel member, John Thompson, made me that Mark Lindsay CNC logo. Very cool. So, all right. So let me know what you want to see next Sunday. In the meantime, between now and then, channel members, I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you for spending way too much of your Sunday afternoon with me. Gee, mini Christmas, it's been 2 hours. You all have a great rest of your Sunday, and we'll see you next week. Y'all take care.